freedom over fame. Freedom over cycle stays the same.
Welcome. First of all, welcome. This is Unsolicited Perspectives, and I'm your host, Bruce Anthony. Thank you for listening and watching wherever you get your podcasts and video podcasts. Subscribe, share, like, comment, and rate us. You can find us on Instagram, YouTube, and Twitch at unsolicited_perspectives. You can find us on Twitter and TikTok at unsolicited_PER. Watch us live now. Watch us live every Thursday night, 7:30 p.m. Eastern on Twitch and YouTube. Our audience continues to grow with each and every episode, and I humbly thank you.
On today's episode, it's a Sibling Happy Hour. I'm here with my sis, Aundrea. We're going to be talking about the submarine. We're going to be talking about homelessness. And we're going to be talking about a fake priest. But first things first. What up, sis?
What up, brother? You sound terrible.
Yeah, I'm sick again, yo. This is starting to get a little ridiculous. But
Yeah.
I found out why I'm getting sick.
Okay.
The pollen season used to be
Mm-hmm.
April to May.
Yeah, I mean, okay.
That was the pollen season. This year, the pollen season started in February.
Mm-hmm.
And by doing some research, it might not end until the first week in August. So I stopped doing all my medication and everything last month. Chilling.
Yeah.
And I can't do that. I can't do this. So
No.
my allergies turned into a sinus infection.
Yeah, you got to take some more vitamin C or something.
I put vitamin C on my face.
That's just for even skin tone. And listen, even though you're sick, your skin is glowing. I'm going to put that out there. It is. It is. Yeah.
I was talking to somebody earlier about skincare products. And she was like, I spent a ton of money on skincare products. I was like, you ain't the only one. Not nearly as much as her, because she was using eye creams and all of the different type of stuff. I'm like, look, I probably get more than the average male. The average male. Because the average male will get that 3-in-1 body wash, the shampoo, face wash, and body. I'm like, nah, bro.
No. All of those things need separate washes.
So I asked one dude one time, I was like, what you wash your face with? Oh, dish soap. I was like, what?
Dish soap like Dawn? I mean, it does cut grease out of your way. So, I mean, so he might be on to something. I don't know. I just got some new products in. I got a new hyaluronic acid and some new vitamin C. So, prepare to be sick of me.
Look, ain't nothing
Rip me
wrong
out the
with
plastic. I'm about to act brand new.
Look, ain't nothing wrong with taking care of yourself. Ain't nothing wrong. I try to do it every Sunday, but if not every other Sunday, I do a full foot cleaning scrub type thing where I take a pumice stone and go to my feet. And other dudes be like, man, that's not manly. I'm like, no, what's not manly is when you lay it up with your significant other and they talking about, oh, your feet are so rough. Don't nobody want to be cut up on your feet and your toes?
Nobody does. I
used to ruin plenty of bed sheets with my natural toenails.
I think I lent you a pair of sheets one time because you had gotten a new, larger bed and you didn't have sheets. And you gave me them sheets back shredded.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, what did you do? Did Freddy Krueger attack you in the night? What happened?
It was some toes. You know what solidified that I needed to take better care of my feet? When I heard certain guys' toenail being so like dirty underneath the toenail that the toenail will fall off.
Yes.
Like it will crack and fall off. And I was like, oh, no. Look,
no.
Tell me something's going to fall off my body. You tell me that my teeth going to fall out. I'm going to floss. I'm going to use a water pick. I'm going to brush all the time. Don't want that. You tell me, hey, if you do this and wear this, your eyeball might pop up. I'm not going to do that. Now, I haven't heard nothing about eyeballs popping out. but I got a fear of my eyeball
Hope,
popping out.
yeah, you do have a fear of that.
An
That is
irrational fear, but I got a real
it,
fear.
because they don't pop out. I'm gonna be
They, I
honest. I
mean, I
mean,
mean,
they can.
yes,
It's not impossible.
right. You haven't heard of
I
this thing? I
I
forgot what
haven't
it's
heard of
called.
it.
Well, there's this thing, I forgot what it's called, where it's a condition where your eye will bulge out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it something with your thyroid?
Yeah, something like that. I don't want that.
Okay. Well, just, take care of yourself then. I mean, I don't know
Yeah.
what to tell you. I don't know
Yeah.
how to prevent eyeballs from popping out. I
Neither
wish
do
I
I.
could give you some solid advice that's like, if you make sure not to do this, your eyeball pop out, but I really don't have anything for you.
Yeah, I know that. Speaking of eyeballs popping out, uh, you you heard
Speaking of
about
eyeballs
yeah.
popping
Speaking
out.
of eyeballs popping out, my eyeballs almost popped out of my head when I saw these Mormon crickets in Nevada that are swarming this area. They say it's millions of crickets. I saw it on the
Yeah.
news. It's millions of crickets. They're all over the place. They're climbing up walls of houses. And they're crickets, but they are. And think of anybody that's ever seen roaches, just an infestation of roaches in somebody's home, how they climb on the walls and stuff like that, or
Yeah.
ants. Like if you have an infestation of ants, that's how these crickets are dominating this town. They climbing up hospital walls on the outside, all types of stuff. It is crazy out there in Nevada.
And you told me about this, and I just saw a news story on it, and they're literally everywhere. They're
Everywhere.
literally, I mean, they are everywhere. And I mean, obviously they're not like poisonous or anything like that, but it's gross. It's
Well,
definitely gross.
it's gross, and they say that the smell is horrible. It smells like fish carcasses. Now, I don't know about
Mm,
you guys out there, but I eat salmon every week. And you know how you got the skin part of the salmon? I don't think you're
yeah.
supposed to eat that skin part. I don't eat the skin
Some
part.
people do. Some people do. I
I
pull
don't.
it off.
I pull it off. But sometimes I throw it in the trash, but sometimes I don't throw the trash out right away. And
And
I'll
then
be
you got
like,
that old funky.
you got that funky
Mhm.
smell like broccoli. You know, that's another thing. If you don't throw broccoli out right away, you're like, why your house smell like rotten broccoli? Because you got rotten broccoli in your trash. You got to throw that stuff
Right.
out right away. But yeah,
Yeah.
man, these crickets out there like roaches. I don't know what. Look, that sounds like some plague, some biblical type stuff.
It sounds incredibly biblical, and I am not a fan.
It's a lot of biblical stuff
I don't.
starting to happen. Tornadoes in Denver killing folks. We got floods and heat waves and all
And
types of stuff.
and pollen
Well,
just out.
well, yeah, I can tell you right now, pollen is out because
Pollen just out here.
it's kicking my pollen is kicking my ass.
See,
It's
I take my allergy medicine every day. I don't play
yeah.
year
I mean, I take a
round,
Benadryl every night.
365. Mm-mm. That's not
Yeah,
that's
yeah, I
not the
wouldn't.
same.
I stopped
Yeah,
doing my
that's
Flonase. I started doing my 24-hour allergy
um
medicine in the morning. I was like, I'm good. No, I'm not good.
no, no. It might be a situation where you just need to take it every day from now on.
One of my friends told me that he goes to BJ's super club, kind of like Costco,
Yeah,
kind of
the
like Sam's
BJ's
Club.
wholesale
Right.
warehouse. Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
he said, I went to BJ's and got my allergy medicine, the 24-hour generic. So like
Mhm.
Allegra or Claritin 24-hour. He said, I got 36 pills for like $12. I said, what? No, he said 360 pills for
Yeah.
$12. I said, what? I was like, what type of deal is that? He said, I tell you what type of it. I, I, this is one of them times where I'm stepping all on the joke
Yeah.
because it's so funny to me. Hold on. Let me phrase it. He said, I'll tell you what type of deal that is. It's a good goddamn deal. That's what it is.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I do. I get the I think a CVS brand generic Zyrtec, and I get a bottle of 365 count. I
And it's a
think it cost me
24
like,
hour.
yeah, and I think it cost me like $30 or something. But I get that once a year. It's worth it.
It's laying right by my bed. I don't know why. I'm taking it now every morning. I'm taking it
Yeah,
now every morning.
got to do it.
Because I've been sick. I've been sick for basically a month. This sucks.
Yeah. Yeah.
This sucks. All right. That's enough of dilly daddling. Let's get to this submarine.
Not
What you think?
dilly-dallying. It's
Yeah,
not
we
a
did.
submarine, first of all. It's a submersible.
Well, okay.
I don't know the difference.
I don't know the difference either. I don't know why you jumped on
I
it and
don't
tried to
know.
correct me.
I don't know if there is a difference. But I just know that they call it uh, a submersible and not
Well,
a
it's the
submarine.
Titan. It's the Titan, and it's run by the company Oceangate Expeditions.
Hmm.
And they take people down there to go look at the Titanic.
Yes,
Uh, and these people was 5 people that went down there, including the CEO. And it looked like they ain't coming back up.
they are not coming back up.
Yeah, it looked
They
like
found debris on
debris.
the ocean floor today, and what they assume happened is that it either imploded or exploded. Um,
The
about
assumption is imploding, that it
The
imploded.
assumption is
Yeah.
that it imploded about an hour and 45 minutes into its 13,000-foot dive. So they have not recovered any bodies. I don't know
I
if
don't
there
know
was
if you would
anything
with that type of pressure.
to,
That's a
yeah,
that's a lot of pressure on the body.
yeah,
I mean, the body would be crushed.
that and predation from fish and
Yeah.
various sharks and all other kinds of swimmables.
There,
Um,
there's been a lot of jokes on these people, and I don't think it's right to joke because we knew that they were pretty much gone a couple of days ago
mhm,
when they were talking
yeah,
about if they are down there, they're running out of oxygen. We knew that they
yeah.
were going to pass it. So
Because apparently
at
they
first,
only had about 4 days of worth of oxygen, but the Coast Guard or the Navy actually said that they heard something that could be an implosion or an explosion around that area, but it was inconclusive. So they just continued the search, running on the assumption that they were all still alive. So,
now look,
yeah.
they weren't. And some of these memes and jokes, while funny, extremely distasteful.
Yeah,
Funny,
I mean
but distasteful.
the only thing I think the only thing that gets me ordinarily, I guess I wouldn't, not that I wouldn't care, but ordinarily, I guess I wouldn't feel some type of way about it. It's just that one of the quote unquote explorers who went down there
You
brought
ain't got
his
to roll their
teenage
eyes. They was exploring. They was
teen,
exploring.
but he brought his teenage son with him. So
And
there
his
was a
teenage
young,
son didn't really want to go. His teenage son went because he was like, I guess this would be a bonding experience. Which, by
yeah,
the way, I wouldn't mind having a dad that just got an extra $250,000 to throw away for just to go for a bonding experience to go see the
five,
Titanic.
500,000 because
Well,
he had to
no,
pay for 2 tickets.
right. So he had the
Yeah,
$250 for him, and he said, "Hey,
yeah,
son, you want to go? Not really. Well, come on. It could be a bonding experience. A bonding experience is going camping. A
yeah.
bonding experience is going for going playing catch.
It's doing
Bonding
trust.
experience
It's doing trust falls.
do a trust fall. He
Yeah,
had a $250,000 or $500,000 bonding experience. So,
right.
and then people were getting into their pockets saying, "Who would spend $250,000 on this and that?" Look,
Somebody who's got it.
right. And I asked somebody who said that to me earlier, like I couldn't imagine spending $250,000. I said, you wouldn't spend
Because
$250,000 on anything? And then they said, well, to go into space. I said, it's the same goddamn thing, right?
yeah,
Going into space,
yeah.
going down below. Like we know more about space than we actually do about the ocean. But you could die in space. And guess what? I don't want to be in a rocket ship and die in space. That's my ultimate fear. It's an irrational fear.
That's your ultimate fear. Being in
Well,
a rocket ship and dying in space.
well,
If
it's
I were to
I'm being
hyperbolic,
hyper yeah, hyperbolic. Thank you for correcting me. I'm sick, so we're gonna excuse my
we're gonna excuse it.
misenunciations.
I'm gonna roll by it. I'm gonna roll by it. I'm gonna roll right on by it. I think my fear, space related, is we're on a space walk and my tether snaps and I just go floating out
That's what I'm
into
talking
space.
about.
But I'm not that I'm on a spaceship and it blows up or something like that, but just that I just end up floating out into space.
That's what I'm talking about. Floating
Yeah,
like
yeah.
I never saw that movie. It was some movie with Sandra Bullock.
Yeah, I didn't see
Yeah,
it either
yeah,
because again, I don't mess with space like that.
I don't mess with space like that. I'm not, look, Thanos is out there, and ain't nothing good came from messing with Thanos
I mean, there's a lot of stuff out there. A lot of stuff.
that we don't know about.
Asteroids, meteors. The sun is out there. That's pretty hot.
Well,
So I hear.
multiple
Um,
suns, because a sun is a star, so there are billions of stars out there in outer space.
but the stars are not suns.
Yes, stars are suns.
We're not going to do this. Stars are not suns. The sun is a star, but a star is not a sun.
You want to look this up right now?
We're not doing this. We're not doing this. We're not getting into this. We're talking about the submersible.
Who got a C in astronomy in college?
You got to see. You got to see. That's my point. You got to see.
It was passing. Hold up, ladies and gentlemen. My sister is looking up. Is a sun is a star.
The sun is a star.
Right.
There are a lot of stars in the universe, but the sun is the closest one to their blah, 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 is a star. Are stars and suns the same thing?
Yeah, she's trying to brush past it. Go ahead and say what it is.
I'm trying to find one of them that actually answers my question. It keeps saying the sun is a star at the center. I know that the sun is a star, but not every star is a sun. That's what I'm trying to determine.
I'm pretty sure that every star is a sun.
It says right here, namely, every sun is a star, but not every star is a sun. The sun is larger and a lot brighter than most stars.
Where you get that information from? What's the source?
I don't know. Telescopes.
Yeah, Nah, I don't trust no telescopes.com.
Well, let's do astronomy.com.
No, I might be wrong on this one, and we detouring from the submarinus.
That's what I said. Again? It's a submersible, and that's why I said we're not doing this. We're not there. You told me to keep an eye on time, and then what do you do? What do you do? Okay, you provoke me, and I don't like it.
Well, because that's how we are in our family. We'll start an argument, and thank God for Google, because back in the day, the arguments would just go round and round and round, because we didn't have Encyclopedia Britannica. I think we had one book. I think we had the D's, the D through E's.
Just randomly, we might have got that for free, and then if we liked it, we would buy the whole set, and nobody ever bought the set. So
for you youngins out there listening to the podcast, Google wasn't always a thing. Sometimes you
did not exist. You had to you had to go to a special building,
it's
filled with these manuscripts called books, and you would have to use what was called the Dewey Decimal System to locate a particular book that would give you the answers. It was an hour-long process, sometimes longer.
Hours, because not only did you have to find a book that would answer the question for you, you had to skim through the book to get the answer. But most of the time, you would just go to the back of the book and look at the index and look up the word that you was trying to find in the book, and then flip to those pages to read those individual pages. Life was hard.
It was hard.
It was hard. Times was hard out here. Not as hard as that implosion in that submersive.
Yeah, it's a submersible, but the crazy thing is that for years people have been warning OceanGate and particularly its CEO about what could possibly happen, because I believe they skipped some common safety checks or safety protocols.
They basically went to Home Depot and built that thing.
They didn't go to, I'm going to be honest, they didn't go to Home Depot. They didn't do that.
It was close. Something like it.
It was not,
they went to Lowe's. They
went to Lowe's. They didn't take all the precautions.
No,
let me tell you, they definitely didn't build it to last.
But they've done several successful trips down there, though. They've been in operation for years.
Yeah, for 2 years. Yeah, I think they started doing trips in 2021,
Well, that's
And I don't know how
years.
many, yeah, I don't know how many trips they did, but it's, everybody was saying, "Hey, it's only a amount of time."
Well, they had
Where
me lost when they went down there with that Nintendo 64 controller. I
I
was like,
did
this
not
is
see. I have heard of this controller. I have not
it was
seen this
it
controller.
was Nintendo. It was Nintendo 64 controller is what you use to play GoldenEye. That's what they went down there to control this submersive. That's what you call it, right? Submersive.
A submersible.
Yeah, well, I like
That's
submersives better.
close.
Yeah.
I mean, it's close. It's not. You're not far off
But yeah,
from
there's
what the
gonna be some
word actually
lawsuits.
is.
There's
Yeah,
gonna be
for
some
sure.
lawsuits.
For sure. I mean, um, these are very rich businessmen uh, with families. So, yeah, there's definitely going to be some lawsuits, especially because letters were written to the company years ago warning of possible catastrophic problems with the design of the Titan. So, if they were aware of it beforehand, I mean, I'm sure you signed some waiver. I'm
Oh yeah,
sure.
they said that there was a waiver that they signed and death was on the first page 3 times.
Yeah.
So
So
they
you're
knew they
aware.
could die. Yeah,
Yeah.
look,
But you
look.
think, hey, this company has been operating and doing these dives. One of the people on one of the 5 who were lost, he'd done like 35 dives to the Titanic. Why you want to pay $250,000 to do something you've already done 35 other times? I don't know. I don't know what else there is new to see.
Yeah.
Uh I
What is it
am
that you're trying to find down there?
I saw Titanic once and I didn't need to see it again.
Titanic low key is a comedy.
We're not doing this, okay? You
Okay.
told me. Real quick, give me the synopsis of what you're talking about, because
When
I would like to hear this.
when the boat flip up
Uh
and the
huh.
people trying to hold on and they can't really hold on and they fall in, but they hitting the rails as they go down.
Yeah.
It seemed like some Three Stooges type thing when they was hitting the rails and then falling off to the water. I was in the movie
Okay.
theater with my girlfriend and my high school girlfriend at the time. Everybody was crying. I thought it was hilarious.
Okay. So you're just a degenerate. I thought you meant the
Yeah.
story itself. There was something hilarious about Rose and the cheating
I
and
mean,
the
Rose was a hoe.
yeah, and
And it's
that
funny
she,
how women excuse the fact that she cheated. Oh, he was a horrible man. She could have left. Well, her mother, no, she could have left. She decided to cheat. She a hoe. Let's just call it what it is. Stop making
yeah,
excuses. Women are quick to make excuses for themselves, but then call a man. Yeah, see, the man didn't have to cheat. He didn't have to do it like that. She shot him in the leg. Why can't he cheat if she shot him in the leg? I'm just talking hypotheticals. This wasn't no particular scene in any movies. But I'm just
right,
saying, it has to be those type of extremes. Women won't
yeah.
give men a pass, but they give themselves a pass all
Because
the
I
time.
was
That's
wondering,
just
I
my
was like,
rant.
I don't remember her shooting him in the leg, but
No, she didn't. I
yeah.
was just talking hypotheticals.
Okay. Cool. Well, very sad. I think
It is
even
sad.
though I think even though people were kind of holding out hope maybe that they were still alive is yeah, we're pretty much sure at this point that they did not survive this. So very sad.
Oh no, this is a guarantee they didn't. They
Yeah. I mean
definitely did.
they found pieces
Yeah,
of the ship. They
yeah.
are
I
not
mean,
in
that's
that. If anything, they're not in the ship anymore.
no.
And at
And
that depth, they're definitely not here.
unless they
They
are
didn't make it.
Atlanteans, they ain't survived that.
Unless
Aquaman does not walk through that door, ladies and gentlemen.
unless the what is it was my man from Black Panther.
Namor.
Unless Namor found them or the Little Mermaid, I mean, probably not. Probably
Yeah, probably not
they
coming
are
out. But
gone, which is
bless their souls. Sorry for the
yeah,
losses.
yeah,
And people need to stop being. I know we crack some jokes, but like this
yeah,
isn't a funny thing. Some people died, and
yeah,
all they wanted to do was do something that was enjoyable to them, and that's
yeah.
sad to see some people go.
And it's people make jokes because they're extremely rich people, and you feel like, well, extremely rich people, um, we kind of deny them a little bit of humanity just because they're extremely rich and can drop $250,000 on a submersible trip. But like, let's be dead ass honest. If $250,000 was like spending $200 to us, I mean, there's a lot of stuff that I would do if
People
I
go
had
scuba
the
diving
kind
and
of
snorkeling all the damn time for
right,
$35, $50. And you could die.
right.
You
You
can
could
die.
die. You could
Yeah.
die. You could. Something could happen. That tank could blow up.
Mm-hmm.
You get stuck on a coral reef. A shark could come and get you.
A lot
You
of
get
things. A jellyfish can sting you.
yeah. Steve Irwin, a damn stingray stung him
Right.
through the chest. You never know.
You
You
never
never
know.
damn know. And so the moral of the story is don't mess with nature. That's what I don't do it. I'll be home. I'm in the house where I belong.
So, Jay, you sent me an article talking about homelessness. And I'm going to
Yeah.
let you take the lead on here because, ladies and gentlemen, my sister says that I hog up all the talk time.
No, that's incorrect. I dissociate halfway through our show.
Right.
And that's
And
why
somebody's got to keep the conversation going. I got to bring you back and keep the conversation going. And then I'm like, Jay, at the beginning of it, I'm like, Jay, I want to keep these shows between 45
yeah.
and max 60 minutes. And it's like, okay, we will. And you'll never follow the clock. That first segment went 25 minutes.
Yeah, but you know what? How many times did I say, did I try to keep you back on track? How many times did I try to get you back on track?
All right, well, we're
So,
detouring right now. Let's talk about homelessness in
and here's the
America.
thing. Here's the thing. I got a lot to say about this. So,
I'm going to let you take the charge on that one.
good luck in keeping this 15 minutes because I don't know.
All right,
So,
we can go 20 minutes on this segment.
so don't because now the pressure's on and now
If you can't get everything that you need to say in 20 minutes, I don't know what to tell you, Jay. Like, I don't know what to say to you. Like, come on now. This is a 20-minute segment.
So I read an article earlier this month. Vox had done some reporting on a federal court ruling that had really significant impact on homeless individuals and the communities around them. That is probably very little is known about this, except probably for most city officials who are tackling the issue of homelessness and communities dealing with a large homeless population. But it was a federal court decision known as Martin v. Boise. In 2009, Robert Martin and a group of homeless residents in Boise, Idaho, sued the city. They argued that receiving police citations for violating local camping bans violated their constitutional rights. And in 2018, the Ninth Circuit Court agreed and ruled that persecuting homeless individuals for sleeping or camping on public property when they had nowhere else to go was cruel and unusual punishment under the Eighth Amendment. The court stated that as long as there are no indoor sleeping options available, the government can't criminalize homeless people for sleeping outdoors on public property. So what had happened to Robert Martin and the group of homeless residents who brought this case up was they had been subject to sweeps of these tent encampments that they lived in, or if they were sleeping in parks or sleeping on the streets or in abandoned buildings, they received citations and were found guilty and of these city ordinances, right? So the problem is there's nowhere for them to go. The issue of unsheltered homelessness, which 40% of all homeless people in the country are unsheltered homeless, meaning they sleep outside and in
Mm-hmm.
places that aren't meant to be lived in, right?
Park benches, under bridges, in the
Any
woods, anywhere
yes.
that they can find a place to sleep. Yeah.
Exactly. And this is mainly due to a lack of affordable housing and the closing of shelters in many communities. It's a problem here in Atlanta where they're closing missions, they're closing shelters while steadily homelessness is increasing, or there's a
On the
rise.
rise. Yeah.
It's on the rise, especially within the last decade. There's a sharp increase in homelessness, and particularly unsheltered homelessness, and a rise
Because
of these
rent is too damn
too
high.
damn high. And it don't make no damn sense. Rent is too damn high. They keep, I know here in Atlanta, they're closing hospitals, they're closing missions, they're closing shelters. I think within like a mile of me, there's maybe one mission, and it's for women and children. But there are within a mile of me, because I live in a low income area very close to downtown Atlanta. There are several tent encampments for unsheltered homeless people. So the National Law Center on Homelessness and Poverty, which filed the case in 2009, believes that the decision is crucial for encouraging cities to propose constructive alternatives to homelessness. So their end goal is to end homelessness through housing, right? Which is the most effective way, and it saves taxpayer dollars, because you have some cities who, because of this decision, they feel like they're forced between a rock and a hard place, right? They are prohibited for forcing unsheltered homeless people out of public spaces because they lack alternatives, but they also lack the funding to keep up with the housing needs of the growing unhoused population. You also have city residents and business owners that are filing lawsuits against cities for allowing these tent encampments, stating that they're a threat to public health and safety, but they're getting shot down by federal court judges, citing Martin v. Boise. But advocates are still saying that instead, the whole point of this and the whole point of Martin v. Boise is to disrupt the criminalization of homelessness.
Mm-hmm.
And that leaders should be looking to invest more in more solutions like affordable housing and shelter options that offer people more privacy. So it's just an interesting little thing that's going on, and it really hit home for me because I drive past, just on my way home from the grocery store, anywhere, I drive past several tent encampments. And we have a very large unsheltered homeless population. We have a large sheltered homeless population, but also a very large unsheltered homeless population here in Atlanta. But you see this a lot really in the Western US, particularly California has a huge unsheltered homeless population. But there are also a lot of court cases that are referencing this decision in Virginia, Ohio, Missouri, Florida, Texas, New York, Hawaii. So it's really has really far-reaching consequences across the nation.
So in the early 2000s, here in DC, I think they closed. I think a mental hospital and a couple of shelters all at the same time, and the homelessness in this area, which was already kind of rough, went crazy. It was like 2001,
ballooned out
2,
of
3,
control. Yeah, I
4,
remember
5,
that.
somewhere around that time.
Yeah, I remember
And the
that.
homelessness in DC is still pretty crazy. I don't know what the answer is to this problem. One, homelessness. I don't know what the answer is to this problem. One thing that they can do in places like New York City, where retail, real estate, residential retail, no, corporate retail, corporate offices.
Mm-hmm.
People aren't going back to the offices to work. They
All
could
right.
turn a lot of those buildings into
There's so much
new
real
houses.
estate.
Yeah.
There's so much real estate that can be
There's a lot of
used.
that in here in DC. A lot of people aren't working in offices. A lot of people are doing remotely now. And so they can convert a lot of these buildings into places where homeless can live. My only thing is I also feel for those business owners, because
Yeah.
nobody wants to go where there's a whole bunch of homeless people.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to go shop or go eat where there's a whole bunch of homeless people. Homeless
Because
people,
you worry about you worry about safety,
yeah.
safety for the public. Yeah.
And it's not like homeless people. I've never had a situation with homeless people like bothering me, like where I felt
Hmm.
physically threatened. I'm also a male.
Right.
So there's that aspect of it. And there are situations where homeless people are threatening.
Hmm.
But like, where are these people supposed to go? But at the same time, like, you can't just be in a populated area where people go all the time. So they've been trying to do, I read an article, these encampments like in certain parts of the
Right.
city for these people. But it's also kind of segregating these people and
Yeah.
turning a blind eye to them. It's kind of like out of sight, out of mind. So you're not really solving the problem.
Yeah. It's
You can
not a
sweep,
permanent solution.
yeah, you can sweep all your toys and everything underneath your bed, but you still didn't clean your room.
Right.
So I really don't know what the answer is, but I can tell you the way we respond or treat homeless people, like a lot of the times, it's not their fault. In San
No.
Francisco, where there's a huge homelessness problem, it's because the housing market is absolutely ridiculous and
Yes.
nobody can afford to live there. Even people that are making six figures are just like, yo, I live out of my car because the housing is too crazy out here.
Hmm.
So I think the problem is, well, it's obviously systemic. And one, we need to do a better job of regulating mortgages and how companies are buying up property. There was a lot of private companies that were buying up homes during the pandemic, and now they're using them for rent, but now they can set the market, and rent is ridiculous now. So
Hmm.
they're driving people like, where do you live? I know in my building, my lease is going to be coming up for renewal pretty soon, and I'm just going to stay because it's going to cost me too much money to leave. So it doesn't matter how much they increase my rent, it's not going to be more than the cost of me moving.
Right.
Uh, but like luckily I have a family and I have a good job and things of that nature. But if I fell on hard times and I was alone, just like that, you could be
Yeah.
homeless.
Yeah.
Just like that. It
We're
doesn't take
all
much,
one or two bad decisions away,
or
or
sometimes not even bad decisions.
or
Unfortunate.
unfortunate circumstances
Yeah.
away from being unhoused. Yeah, I mean the answer
I know I
is
keep saying homeless and it's unhoused. I apologize to all
well,
the homeless people out there if you're listening
well,
to the show.
well. It's funny because I go back and forth depending on what I'm talking about, but I know for homeless or unhoused people, I don't know that they really particularly care about what language you use. So
I would love to take a poll. I love to be like,
yeah.
excuse me, sir, madam, do you mind being called homeless or unhoused? Which one do you prefer?
I would prefer to not be either one. So that would be
Right.
that's but I mean the answer is really is for especially in cities where this is a real problem is not to penalize, or displace homeless people, is not to push them out or to push them into one place, like these managed tent camping sites.
Or
Um,
criminalize it. I hate to do it. I hate to do it, but I have to because I read this article, and the article specifically pointed out conservative states are extremely penalizing homeless, unhoused people for being homeless or unhoused.
right.
Like, they're not trying to really find any housing, and they're trying to find every way they can around this Martin rule.
Yes.
Why? Why? Conservatives, I just have an honest question. Why do you not care about anything else but yourself? I'm just
Why?
curious.
Why do you hate America?
What?
Why?
Obviously,
Why do you not
they're up.
want it to be better? Why do you
They.
not want America to work for every American?
Hmm, hmm,
Why?
huh.
What's wrong with that?
Because it's not going to
Yeah,
take anything away from you.
it's
It's
truly
not.
not. To build affordable housing and shelter alternatives is not going to take away, but you will have people when they propose building affordable housing or building shelters, you will have people show up to those city council meetings in opposition of that.
Oh
And
yeah.
I'm like, well, what's the alternative? Well, their push is to push homeless individuals out of the city by punishing them.
Yeah.
Um, but that is not a solution. The only solution is affordable housing and shelter alternatives. That
Eh,
is the
eh,
solution. And really making a concerted effort to prioritize funding those initiatives. That's
yeah,
the
but
solution.
they would look at that as some type of socialism. Why don't you just, they should just pull themselves by the bootstrap. As my man Martin Luther King says, it's pretty hard to pull yourself by the bootstraps if you don't have no boots.
Yeah, I mean, what address are you supposed to put on that job application?
That's something I always thought about. I was like, damn, if I was homeless or unhoused, like what would I do? Like I could get a job at McDonald's or something like that, but like how would I know that I got the job? Right.
Right.
It's like, can you hire me right now today? Because you could yell out the window. Maybe I'll just stick around to see if I got accepted for the job or whatever. But then
Right.
after that, it's like,
Because there's no payphones anymore where you can give them the phone number to the payphone, like Mo
right.
Money.
Yeah.
You know, and he just basically hung around that payphone to see if they called about the job. I mean, but
Yeah.
those don't
If
exist
y'all don't
anymore.
know about Mo Money, it stars Damon Wayans and Marlon Wayans. And Damon Wayans is they're petty con artists and
Mhm.
thieves, and Damon Wayans wants to turn his life around and get this job only because he found a pretty girl. The pretty girl ended up being one of the worst people on the face of this earth in real life. Think
She's
Candace
trying to
Owens.
change. Stacey
Nah,
Dash is trying to
look,
change.
I've been in love with Stacey Dash since the movie Moving with Richard Pryor and King Kong Bundy. King Kong Bundy didn't really star in the movie; he was just in the movie.
Yeah.
But she broke my heart. She broke my heart. See, we
Yeah.
did this segment in 20 minutes. You got anything else you want to say about this?
No, that was it. Thank you.
See, look, we got it done in 20 minutes. See that, folks? We can give you information in a timely fashion and with a whole lot of jokes.
No.
But, not everything's got to be about jokes. Sometimes we talk about serious stuff. This is a serious subject. I don't know what the answer is. My sister says affordable housing. I don't even know how we go about creating affordable housing. I think that's
There is so much real estate. There's so
no,
much real
you're
estate.
talking about building. You're talking about building more housing.
No, there is so much existing real estate that is
Uh,
not being used that the city could use to create affordable housing.
that would be like a really extremely nice developer because they're not going to make any money off of that. They would just be doing that at the kindness of their heart.
No, they would be making the money. The city is paying for it. This is taxpayer
The
money.
city ain't got no money.
The city got money.
Sometimes the city ain't got no money.
Because Atlanta just allocated like $700 million to different infrastructure initiatives. I don't know. I didn't read the whole article. So cities got money.
Some
The
cities
money
got money.
exists.
Some cities got money. DC ain't got no money. Well, DC got a little bit of money, but not a whole lot of money. But
I
their
bet you.
budget,
I
their
bet you they
budget is
got some
controlled by
money.
their budget is controlled by Congress.
And if you think about pulling funding from other places where, like, I don't know, the militarization of the police,
Yeah,
which has $1 billion annual funding. Why don't you
I
pull
still
from
want the
that?
police, but they ain't got to have all the stuff.
They don't.
They out here.
There are plenty of other countries where the police are not militarized in the way that they are in this country, and they're perfectly safe.
When we say militarized, ladies and gentlemen, we're talking about they out here looking like soldiers. We don't
Yes.
need the police to be like soldiers.
No.
This ain't the 80s where everybody got AKs and Uzis. Kids is out here just using regular handguns now.
Yeah.
No, they're not.
Kids just using just regular handguns.
They're using ghost guns now. That's the scary thing. Those things are undetectable. But anyway, homelessness in America. Let's do better.
Sure.
All right, Jay, this last story I thought was entertaining. It's not funny, but
It's
it
not.
is.
It's really, really terrible.
It's
And
not
also
funny,
trash.
but it is.
Yeah.
All right. So the Department of Labor launched an investigation into Takira Garibaldi. It's a restaurant. And
Taqueria.
what did I say?
Takira. And now that's a girl I used to know in high school.
Oh,
That's a completely different.
Shakira must have been on my mind. She aging. Shakira aging real well.
She looks good. I
She
haven't
look.
seen her recently.
I mean, every time you see her, she look good.
Yeah.
Anyway, in 2021, after receiving complaint from an employee, the Department of Labor launched an investigation into this restaurant.
Mm-hmm.
The department found several violations of Free Labor Standards Act, which regulates minimum wage, overtime pay, record keeping, and child labor standards. The department also found that the restaurant chain tried to obstruct the investigation by instructing employees to lie to investigators, fabricate timesheets, and prohibit employees from using their usual digital attendance tracker. The department also found that the restaurant chain, now this is what I found really funny. The
Yeah.
department also found that the restaurant chain hired a fake priest to intimidate and manipulate employees into confessing any wrongdoings or complaints that they had about the employer. The
So
department said,
this is
go
a
ahead.
Mexican restaurant. I believe it's a Mexican restaurant.
It's a Mexican restaurant, yes.
And so as we all know, a lot of Latinos are Catholic.
And Catholics are our mom is
Devout
Catholic.
Catholic. Yes.
Our mom is Catholic and is serious about confession. I'm like, no, you just talk
Yes.
to God. No, you can't. No,
Yes.
you can't.
They
I'm
are
like,
completely serious about this and they offered confession during work hours to employees, but the priest was fake. He was undercover. And the only thing he ever asked them to confess was any wrongdoing that they did on the job.
or complaints about the employer.
Mm-hmm.
So the Department of Labor filed a lawsuit against the restaurant and its three owners and operators in 2019, seeking back pay, liquidated damages, civil penalties, and an injunction relief for the affected employees. Basically, the lawsuit was finalized on June 8th of this year, and they were awarded $140,000 as well as an extra $5,000 for civil penalties. But that's supposed to be divided on the 35 employees. So basically, the employees didn't get that much.
No, but it highlighted the unfair business practices of this place and it penalized the employer. So even though the employees didn't get that much, the employer still has to pay out this money. So
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to do the math real fast of what the employees got. And well, no, actually the employees probably got about close to 20,000.
yeah, they got a couple. They got a
Then
little. They got a little something. They
yeah,
got a
they
little
got close
something.
to 20,000. Did I get that right? Hold
No, I
on,
don't know. You know,
math, ladies and gentlemen.
it's not my strong suit. It's
When
not.
that's 14. That's 140,000 divided
Yeah,
by 35. No, I was dead wrong. It's about $4,000 a piece.
yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm sick. That's the reason why I did the math all wrong. But
Yeah,
I found this funny.
But the way that I agreed with you,
Right. And you was just like, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, they got it. Yeah, they did. They definitely
No,
got a little bit.
$4,000. This is not a lot. But
No.
I just found this. I mean, it's not funny because what they did to these people is absolutely ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
But the fact that they hired a fake priest, and I don't think you could ever convince me to be a fake priest because I feel like that's just automatic going to hell. I don't even think you can ask for forgiveness from that. I think that you just immediately, if you portray a fake priest,
Yeah,
and it's not for like a movie or something like that, you're doing a fake priest to do
straight
evil.
to hell.
Yeah, I just feel like you go straight to hell.
Yeah,
I feel like if you hire somebody to be a fake priest, that you
that's
automatically go straight to hell.
yeah. That's automatic. That's automatic. You don't pass go. Don't collect $200. You're going to
But
hell with gasoline draws on because why? Because really, you're gonna use the Lord to potentially entrap your employees. Wow.
so there was also some other stuff about about this case, and then a lot of the employees were like their immigration status is, I don't know. So the employers were kind of abusive and would tell them, hey, you can't say nothing. You can't say nothing. They would take their tips and pay them to the managers as opposed to the people actually getting their tips. Threaten them with, hey, we'll take you to immigration. You get deported, all types of stuff. Like,
well, the jacked up thing about this country, it really doesn't matter what your immigration status is. The threat alone can tie you up with immigration for a very long time. And even if your immigration status is legit, you can still end up getting deported just because our system is just so trash.
Yeah. Yeah. If y'all want to learn more about immigration, listen to my interview with Tamina Watson. She's an immigration
very
lawyer.
good interview.
I have a whole interview that tells you about immigration. If you want to learn, some people don't want to learn. I'm about to detour. This story was funny, but not funny, whatever. But I am going to detour.
Okay.
The trolls in social media are absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah.
And I swear, they either don't listen to what we're saying. It's okay to disagree. I don't have a problem with people disagreeing with me. I'm not one of those type of people that thinks that they're always right. I don't think I'm right. Well, if I speak on it passionately, I know I'm right. But I'm also willing to be shown if I'm wrong.
Right.
I always leave that open because I'm always like trying to expand my thought process. Like I'm never going to be so stand on my ground that I won't listen to another person's opinion if it's an intelligent opinion. I had somebody today give me, and I know they might listen to this, and yeah, I'm throwing you under the bus. Give me an article today that said, "Hey, did you see this 5-minute YouTube video about how we might be in a simulation?" I was like, "What are you talking about?" And it was like, yeah, they said it was about these protons, and they did this study, and the protons, when they knew they were being monitored, acted a certain way, and when they knew they weren't being monitored, didn't act a certain way. I was like, okay, that's interesting. Where'd you get this from? Oh, it was on YouTube. Okay. Where'd you get this from? Like, what's the source? So they sent me the source on YouTube. And I'm looking for, first of all, it's not 5 minutes, it's 20 minutes. So they didn't watch the whole thing.
They watched it for 5 minutes.
They watched it for 5 minutes. And I was like, oh, okay, so you didn't even get all the information from this. That's number one. Number two, yes, my first major in college was journalism. There are certain standards that you have to have before you publish an article, before you report on something, right? So I'm looking at any citations of where they credit information that they divulge in the video, in the descriptions, and there's nothing there.
Right, because it's not because it's unreasonable and it's ridiculous.
Well, but they're not giving opinion-based information. If you're giving opinion-based information, you can cite stuff if you want to, but it's your opinion. We give a lot of opinion. I'll cite stuff when I need to cite stuff, but it's opinion-based. If we're giving factual information, we come with receipts. This is where we got it from. This is who's reporting it, this and that. So I go through and I'm like, oh, there's one name that I see that's in the descriptions. So I was like, let me look up this one name and see who they are. I look up that one name and it's a science fiction writer. And so I'm like, oh, this is some L. Ron Hubbard shit. Excuse my language, ladies and gentlemen, but if y'all don't know who L. Ron Hubbard is, he's basically the father of Scientology. And I'm not going to knock Scientology because as crazy as Scientology sounds, all religion sounds crazy. If that's what you want to believe, cool, believe in it.
Well, religion's a cult, so.
All religion is a cult.
Yeah, if you look up the definition of cult, it's religion.
People jump up and down like Christianity is in the cult. Yeah, it started as a cult. Yeah, it was one man and 12 disciples.
No, it's just a cult. That's what it is.
It started. It was one man in a group. It was one man in a group. That's how it started. That's called a cult.
That isn't even how it started. Jesus was just preaching to Jews on how to be better Jews. And we took it and was like, I hear what you're saying. I'm going to change the whole thing. We're going to call it something new. We're not going to celebrate any of the religious holidays you celebrate. We're going to make up some new ones. Like, it was just a complete departure from, but I digress.
So if y'all see a comment under our Instagram or our YouTube post, first of all, if it's derogatory or just hateful, I take it down. Like I'm not gonna have that stuff on there.
Yeah.
If it's divisive without crediting anything and it's just saying some stuff, I was like, and you didn't pay attention, I'm not gonna respond to it. And for those clickbait bots that are trying to get a rise out of me, you're not, because I'm kind of, what's the word that I want to use that doesn't make me sound pompous? I know I'm more intelligent than you, so I just don't give any weight to what you're saying to me.
Not to mention the fact that I'm a Black woman in America. A bot on the internet is just not enough to get a rise out of me. It's just
it's really not.
I live as a Black woman in America.
Yeah.
You
know
really
what?
think your Twitter fingers are bothering me?
Not at all.
Baby.
And my sister got a harder shell than me. If y'all ain't hitting me, y'all damn sure ain't hitting her. So I just don't get it. If you don't like what we put out, hey, you ain't gotta watch it.
Keep scrolling.
Keep scrolling.
Click on the next thing.
Useless comments don't do anything. Criticism, I don't have any problem with constructive criticism.
Yes.
I will accept that all day long. If you
we want the show to get better, so we definitely are open to constructive criticism.
I played sports. I got yelled at. Plus, we grew up in our own household where
we grew up in our own household.
Look, let me tell you something. People think, my friends joke on me and they're like, "Oh, you mad?" I'm like, "Look, tell me something. Nothing is worse as the cutthroat house that I grew up in."
Thank you.
One of my friends still to this day talks about how when he would come over to visit right after college, how dad would be like, poke his stomach. Looks like you gained some weight there.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, that really hurt my feelings. I was like, that hurt your feelings? I was like, bro, you couldn't live in this house.
No.
That's an everyday occurrence from everybody. You go get it in this house.
Mm-hmm.
That was just my little 2-cent rant.
Yeah. But we definitely like comments.
Yeah.
And if you don't agree with us, that's fine. Let us know, and I mean, that's not going to change our position, but
it's not going to change your position. Sometimes people hit me with something and I'm like, oh yeah, I never thought of it like that. You're stubborn. You stay firm in what you believe. And
I believe what I believe.
Right.
No, but I don't think I'm stubborn. I think that huh?
You want to rephrase that?
I don't think I'm stubborn. I think I believe what I believe and I know what I know. But if you give me some new information that I didn't know, then I'm open to changing. My
is
position
the sun a star?
The sun is a star, but not all stars are suns.
You still ain't proven to me that it's not the case.
Period. I mean, it's just period. The sky is not full of little tiny suns.
Look, Neil deGrasse Tyson, this is an invitation to come on the show and break down stars and suns.
I would love it. And let me tell you, if Neil deGrasse Tyson tells me the stars are suns and suns are stars, then I'm about to fight with Neil deGrasse Tyson because I refuse.
Oh, but you're not stubborn.
Okay, I stand corrected.
Yes, right.
I will argue over that with Neil. Yes, the sun is a star, but not all stars are suns. All suns are stars.
And you would argue with Neil deGrasse Tyson.
I would argue. I would have a full-on argument.
So I proved my point.
I will verbally accost Neil deGrasse Tyson over this because that is just the truth.
All right. Well, hey, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening. Remember, share, like, comment. Watch us on YouTube. Our YouTube following is growing. I want it to keep growing. Like I said, we got a lot of stuff. We got a lot of videos. And if you don't want to watch the whole episode, we have shorts. We have clips.
There's something for everybody.
There's something for everybody. And we talk about everything. So there's something for everybody. So share, comment, like, all that good stuff. Jay, what do you want to tell the people out there? You stubborn as hell.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm saying if you right, it's okay to be stubborn.
But you ain't right all the time. But that's okay. Just tell the people out there.
I'm right about the sun being a star, but not all stars being suns. I'm right about that. I'll tell you that. I'll tell
What
you
do you
that
want to tell the
right now
people?
and today.
What do you want to tell?
I'll tell the people this. I know a little bit about astronomy, and the sun is a star, and not all stars are suns. And that is just point blank, period. Also, Pluto, you are a planet, and I refuse to let people tell you just because you're small that you're not a planet. You are a planet, and I'm including you in our solar system as one of the 9 planets in our solar system. And we need to bring Pluto. Pluto needs to be. What was the point of taking Pluto out of the fold anyway?
I don't
Who
know.
is this hurt? Who is this hurting? Who is this helping?
You going on a rant right now. You going on a rant, but
I'm
I actually
gonna
agree
let
with
it
you.
go. Right. Because
Yeah, I
who
actually
was it
only about
hurting?
Pluto. Only about Pluto. But suns and stars and stars and suns. We ain't gonna agree on that. But Pluto, I agree with you on Pluto.
Yeah, because I don't just. Who did it hurt? Who did it hurt to just leave him in?
I don't know. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening. And on that note, I'll holler.
Thank you for listening to Unsolicited Perspectives with Bruce Anthony. Please subscribe, like, comment, share, and donate. Donations help us keep giving you this free content each and every week. Until next time, Audi 5000. Peace.